And we are live for another episode of the Blue Crocus Experience. Excited about this one today. I'm joined by Jason Cesarski of the Junkster out of New Jersey. Jason, awesome to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun, getting to know you, and let's go.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to chat. This is actually our first time chatting. We talked on the phone a few times before, but the first time chatting on here or Zoom or anything like that. So excited to dive into a few things with the business. But we connected originally back in December, end of December, beginning of January, I believe. We were doing a website giveaway. I think that's how we connected initially. Was a website giveaway. He entered. I was just called him to learn a little bit more about the business and all that. And then we just stayed in touch since then. And then he entered another giveaway that we just did recently, and he came away the victor. So he just won our latest website giveaway that we did specifically for the junk removal community. So we were just talking before about going through some of the design stuff for it. So we haven't built it out yet, but that'll be coming down the pipe in the next few weeks, getting Jason's site built out. But that's kind of the history of how we came about. But Jason, if you can give us an idea, a little bit better of an idea of where you are, and then just dive into the kind of the history of your business, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So pretty much I'm in business for about 2 years. I went to college and didn't think I was going to be doing this for my career. I spent about 25 years in the restaurant business, and then COVID happened, and I was tired of working weekends and holidays and being away from the kids. So I didn't go back to the restaurant business, and then I was working with a contractor, and he hired me to clean whatever was left over. And I was like, oh, maybe I can come up with my own business and doing this for houses. And we got a connection with a dumpster company, and I did a few months without a name. And then I was like, I need to come up with a name. I need to get insured. So that took a few months. And then, I have a few friends that are realtors. I got in contact with them, and, one job led to another, word of mouth. And, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and, because of you, I have a Google page, and, it's just kind of taken off ever since then. Really, I guess the last 5 months have been nonstop. So
yeah, your business has changed a lot since we first started talking.
Yeah, I mean, I went from filling up a truck to filling up 3 30-yard dumpsters. So I mean, something's going right. So
yeah, I love it. What speaking of the Google business listing, because you didn't have them when we first started chatting, isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking for a while, and with your advice, I do all my posts on my own Facebook. I do, Instagram, and I have all the social media things that we should be doing. And I just post all my jobs on there. And then you suggested that I should get my own Google page. So I looked into that, and I'm like, yeah, this is the way to go. This is, once you get a Google page, and then, the next step is getting a website. So really, anytime I do a job, I say, can you leave me a review on either my Facebook, whatever's comfortable. And it's really, blown up. I don't have time to do jobs now.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, it's for anybody that's listening in too, whatever industry you're in, Google business listing, Google My Business, Google Business Profile. They're changing the names all the time. Get one. They are free to set up. If you want to reach out and ask for some tips, I'm happy to provide them. But I mean, Jason's seen the difference it's made. But you've done a cool journey from really starting pretty organic in the sense of word of mouth, connecting with people you knew, to getting a Facebook page, Instagram page, Google Business, and now a website. So it's this really neat journey, I guess, on how you built your business. But we were talking a little bit at the beginning of the before we came on air here, and you've got some interesting things that you've done to get jobs. And I love talking to people because we have the junk removal business. I love learning stuff that we can apply or I can tell clients. But just walk people through some of the things that you did. You didn't have all the bells and whistles. You don't have a website yet. You didn't have a Google business listing for a while, and you still paid the bills.
So what I was doing was, and I would be on a Facebook Marketplace for an hour to 2 hours in the morning before the kids woke up, because I'm always up early. I try to hit the gym in the morning, try to get that out of the way, and then I would spend legit an hour, 2 hours on Facebook Marketplace and find people that were having estate sales, because I did estate sales for about 6 months too last year. And when people have an estate sales, not everything sells, so all this stuff is left over. So if they're either having a garage sale or an estate sale, I just send them a message. Hey, this is what I do. Do you need anything removed after the sale? And I've gotten several jobs. Oh yeah, we're gonna need you. This week, next week, sure. And that's, it blows my mind how people are just like, oh, yeah, what am I gonna do with the stuff left over? Oh, yeah. I don't know. So yeah, that's landed several jobs, big jobs. So, for a while I was pushing that pretty hard, especially in those slow winter months. There's like, one or two things not happening. You're like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And I just kept up with it, and then then one job led to another. So,
that's huge. Yeah, I'm a huge. Obviously, I'm a proponent of marketing because I think you get a website, you get a business listing. It's an online salesperson that's always there, but there's so many other offline things that you can do, and that's what stood out to me when we first started chatting was you're hustling. You're not just sitting back and be like, man, I don't have any money for marketing. You went out and you made it happen. I love that strategy, messaging people. I did something similar when we started our business because I was like, I want to try all the offline stuff too, because there's lots of people that don't have money for a website right away. And there's, that tactic. Sit down. It takes time. You've got a lot more time than money typically when you start a business from scratch. And so, connecting with people is huge.
And when I do jobs in certain towns that I don't live in, there's a Facebook group for it. Oh, such and such. And then you could post, once a month, some Facebook groups, you could post, oh yeah, I did a job here. This is my business. And then I've gotten a couple of jobs just from posting in towns I don't live in, So that takes a lot of time too, because I'm in probably 400 groups. I don't really have that many, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, this is what I do. Oh, okay. And then I got a job in a different town where I've never been to. So you never know what it takes.
Yeah, no, I was just having that conversation with someone yesterday. They're in a pretty competitive market. And I said, what are you doing in the groups? And they were like, no, I maybe post, once, but I'm in a bunch of groups and not posting. I said, just make a spreadsheet, drop all the links to the groups and then go through, make a schedule. Just go through consistently and drop a post, here and there every couple of weeks saying, this is what we do. One thing that we did when we first got going too, to really get a buzz going, was we gave away some of the stuff that we got. So we had a fridge that we just didn't want to take to the dump. It still worked. It was going to cost us more to get rid of it than what we got it for, because we got it off of an add-on to a job. And so we just jumped into the Facebook groups, put it in, I think, 4 or 5 groups and said, hey, giving this away in the next 2 hours. If someone wants it, we'll deliver it. Got a massive buzz going. And then people were reaching out saying, hey, I've got junk that I need removed. Loved what you guys did, all this stuff. And it saved us money for dumping it. And it's free advertising. It's there's a really overlooked way that you can leverage those Facebook groups. I love your method of doing the estate sales, because there's some decent money in estate sale leftovers. There's usually a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I took a break from estate sales just because it's very time consuming. I did one recently, which was very beneficial, and it turned into, I sold most of the stuff on Facebook because the people weren't living there, and there was nothing left. So they allowed me to bring my stuff there to sell. So I really got paid for like 2 jobs,
Nice.
while I was there. So really sometimes those things land into 3 different jobs,
That's huge. What other offline tactics, like outside of the, when people think of ads and websites and stuff, what other tactics do you have? Because I'm digging this.
So a lot of people have stuff in their houses that need to be removed, and I hate, me and my wife both hate throwing away stuff that can be used for other people.
Yeah.
So my church, we have a charity that donates to a lot of people in need. I donate a lot to Goodwill and other charities. So I try to do that, and because of that, I'm able to get more feelers out there without doing any advertising. It's all word of mouth.
Yeah.
Business cards you can hand out when you do a job, but like when a charity sees you do that, they're like, oh, okay. And I've done sponsorship for golf tournaments for cancer research. I've done, fundraisers for other stuff. And people see a billboard, or people see whatever, they're like, oh, who is that? And then, oh, okay. When I go to the gym, I wear my hoodie every day, and people are like, what do you do? I'm like, junk removal and clean outs. Oh, okay.
It's huge.
Just wearing your shirt is huge,
Yeah, having a clean brand. To the point of, people that you donate for or donate to. One of the things that we did, and I'll be talking to this to you about this once we get the site up. But for people who are listening, get if you're donating to a Goodwill or to we have a lot of Salvation Armies around here or other avenues like that. Maybe just even get them to link back to your site. Say, hey, regular donor, the Junksters, right? Then link to your website. That's a really powerful thing. Google sees people, local businesses especially, linking back to your website. That really helps with your SEO. It helps build up some power there. So if you're regularly doing that, we did something for the community kitchens, helped them deliver a bunch of food, and then wrote an article for them and said, hey, do you mind just putting this on your website? And they did, and then linked back to us. And so it's another thing. Some people it feels weird, but you're doing a good thing for the community, and you've got a business that needs to grow, right? So get out there and use some of this Google juice, if you will, to point back to your site. So that's a little thing we'll be talking about for sure, but for anybody listening too.
Yeah, and like I said, I hate throwing stuff away, especially COVID brought a lot of tough times and people don't have things. So my kids have what they need. They have toys. They don't need 100 million toys. No, just give it to other kids, and they'll understand someday. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, do the toy shuffle. It's like, all right, you want some more toys? Let's figure out what we're getting rid of.
Exactly. And they, Daddy comes home, they're like, oh, what do we get for today? I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that every day. It's not Christmas every day, I mean, I get to keep stuff, yeah, sure. I mean, but I do a lot of reselling too. That's where a lot of junk removal companies can make a lot of money. Scrap. I just did a sports collector recently, and I made some pretty good stuff out of there. Video game, like all that stuff people buy, just it's free money. That's how I call it, free money. Yeah. Take it in your truck, take it home, sell it. I don't try to haggle people for money. Really, like I give them to like 80% off. I don't try, here, just give me a good amount, and that's on your way.
Yeah, you want them to move fast, and then it's just extra cash, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got kegerators and wine. I don't need that stuff in my garage. It's just I don't drink that, So yeah, if someone else could use it and benefit from it, hooray!
I love it. What other advice would you have for someone who's just starting out? Where the hustle really needs to happen, before the money starts coming in.
I mean, I would say just kind of don't be stressed out about not getting certain jobs. Even if when I first started, I did a job that was really, the amount was really low, and I was like, maybe I should have went up. But this person was very, very successful. She was on top 40 with Oprah, and I was like, okay, she could really say some good stuff about me. The money ain't gonna matter, So take that into account. Sometimes you just take a little hit, but when someone blasts you on social media that you're doing a great job, then next time you do a job, you could up the price a little bit and make some money that way. Yeah. I would just say just keep hustling. I mean, things are gonna happen. Just keep your head up. I mean, because of you, last week I emailed 2,000 realtors in my nearby area, and I got a lot of emails already back just from I take 5 minutes to send 100 1,500 emails. So just keep with it. It's tough, but it works. So
it does. It works if you work it. And to the point there, I love seeing the hustle there with the emails. If anybody's looking for a list of emails, happy to sort you guys out. But I basically gave Jason the script, and we give this out for free. But it's a script that you can send to realtors. I think it's a three processes. You send out the first one and then send out a couple more. But it's a way to get in touch with realtors and just connect with more people. So that's a great way to do it. Great way to build things up and keep going. But no, this has been fun, Jason. It's like I said, it's been cool. I feel like in the last 6 months, things have really, really grown for you. What do you kind of you've been doing it for a couple of years now. What do you kind of point to that's like the one thing that made the difference, or a couple things that made the difference for you?
I would just say, like, when you have a connection with a realtor and they just bring you business, connect with realtors that are in their office and just keep sending those emails out. And then, all I need is one realtor or one person to connect you to 5 different jobs. Yeah. It's just, it'll take off. You just got to be patient, especially during the winter. The winter is tough, but,
make lots of money in the summer and then, take some rest in the winter too, right?
Yeah, take your vacation during the holidays, whatever you celebrate, and get back to work.
Yeah. Do you do much demo work, like interior?
Yeah, I've done demo before. I've done shed removal. The last job 2 weeks ago, we did a clean out, and then that was for the buyer of the house. Then the seller, no, that was for the seller. The buyer of the house wanted us to remove all the drywall downstairs because there was mold. And then there was another shed that needed to be taken down. So I got sledgehammers, I got tools. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do,
Yeah. Yeah. No, a demo's a good one. A lot of people don't optimize online. Like I always come back to, how can we dominate online? A lot of people don't optimize well for demolition. So it's a niche often that you can do well in. We'll be chatting about that with your site. But we did a fair bit of that over the winter. You can do a lot of that if you connect with contractors. There's often some renovation stuff, some demo that needs to be done. And so that's a way to keep busy over the winter, and you don't have to be outside, slaving away at least up here in Canada, it's pretty chilly.
Well, yeah, up there. I mean, the East Coast will be cold during the winter, but not like, Canada. Hey,
yeah. Yeah. We're up here huddled around our fires and our igloos. So it's no joke, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Outside of the junk removal space, just business in general, do you have a nugget you can leave people with before we hop off here?
As far as like what do you mean exactly?
Business or life or anything you want to leave people with?
Well, all right. So put it this way. I watch my kids during the week. So I drop them off to school and I drop my daughter off at a sitter. So I try to do a clean out for 2 to 3 hours while I have that free time. So it's not easy. My wife's a teacher, so I have limited hours to do these type of jobs. And the most of the times is, oh, am I going to be able to do this? Yes, you can. It's just the client will have to agree on your time. Because in a lot of these groups that we're in, people are like, oh, what do I charge? What do I charge? You got to know your worth. I mean, you got to know your value. And if someone says no to your value, then there'll be other people that'll hire you regardless, with the time too. So,
yeah. And you've taken that to another level there with, you know your value, but you also know your time value. You're needed on the home front, and you make that work. And clients, they fit in around that schedule, even if you have to, I would imagine, pop back to a job after, a few hours too, right?
Yeah. Once the wife gets home, if I got to go back to the job, back to work, let's go. And, I try to be home, because of the restaurant business. I don't want to work weekends or holidays no more. Me and my wife have opposite schedules. We did. And now I could be home all the time with the kids, and it's been a blessing. I've been really blessed with what I'm doing.
That's huge.
So people say, love what you do, and I enjoy what I do. So I love what I do. So.
No, I can tell. Yeah, and you've built a business that works for you too. You're not a slave to the business. There's nothing wrong with hustling on the weekends and whatnot, but family's important. And if you can make it fit in, that's where I'm working towards is making sure that all the business stuff that I do fits in with the family, because the family's gonna be around a lot longer than the business. So if we lose it all at this stage, then there's not much point in making the best business in the world, right?
Yeah, for sure. My kids have their own Junkster t-shirts, and I'm ready to go.
I'll up the Blue Crocus game here and get the kids all outfitted too.
Yeah, I mean, my logo is based off. I'm a big wrestling fan, so my logo is based off Hulk Hogan. Don't tell him, whatever. So
I think you should tell him. Get him to come give you a little bit of a plug there.
Well,
someone in the groups appreciate this comment. Someone said, know your value. I love it.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of talking over your little cameo there with Hulk Hogan, but someone in the groups just commented saying, know your value. That's key in every area of life, but especially in business. We get a lot of the pricing questions. What should I charge for this? What does this cost? And there's value in bouncing ideas off of each other in the groups, but I think it comes down to really knowing what you're doing and what you want the value to be. How much does your labor cost? How much does your insurance cost? How much does your equipment? Do you know roughly what you're going to spend on maintenance? Then amortize that over the year, and then say, hey, I've got $3 to $4 grand a month I've got to move, put toward equipment maintenance and insurance and vehicle payments and all that. Then you got to work that into your jobs, right? You don't want to be just working to pay the business. You got to work to pay yourself too.
Yeah, and it's funny when people say no to you, and in the process they still not finding someone to do that job, and you're like, I told you, like, you're gonna, especially when it comes to moving stuff. I have a worker of mine who has his own moving company, and I'll let him advertise his company when someone needs a mover. Absolutely.
Yep.
And anytime a person needs something that's moved, I said, well, these are the rates that he does. That's the rates I'm going with. But if it's junk removal, this is the rates I do. Oh, I see. Okay. And people are like, oh, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, you don't want to pay me. I'm, whatever. I'll find something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no, exactly. That's huge.
You got 100 million stairs. I'm not. It's not gonna take 5 minutes to go up these stairs.
So. $10 a stair.
Easily sometimes. Piano, treadmill.
Those are hefty.
Yep.
Hefty for sure. I love it. Well, Jason, this has been fun. Excited to see the journey continue and grow. Excited to see the site come together, and just appreciate you coming on. This is I'm glad you reached out and said, hey, can I hop on for a little bit of a second here? Well, full disclosure, guys, he's going to get a backlink from this podcast. He's going to get a backlink from the YouTube where the podcast is as well. So he's leveraging this. You guys can be doing the same thing. Hop on radio shows, get linked back to your site. It seems like we've talked about backlinks a lot in here, but leverage these examples and opportunities for your business, and to grow it and build it. So excited for the growth here, my man.
I appreciate it. Like, everything you've done will help me, and for all the other people out there, just stay focused and do what you're doing. And I some things I don't really consider competition for other people who do the same thing in the area. It's not like that for me. Everyone has their own niches, and everyone does their own job. I don't really consider competition. Like 1-800-JUNK and all those bigger companies, they don't have the type of relationship with their clients like I do. I value my relationship with my clients than I do just doing a job. I try to build that trust and I feel like that's more important for me, is the relationship with the client. It goes a long way.
That's huge. That's huge. Well, we got to sign off here now, but guys, appreciate everyone who tuned in. If you're listening on the podcast, you can check out Jason's new website. That'll be linked down below. If you're looking for, an example of what we can do over here at Blue Crocus Solutions. And Jason, until next time, my friend.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.